Have you ever wondered what it looks like when a great nation collapses, not from some big invasion, but from the inside out? Well, that's really the story of First Kings. It's this epic drama about a kingdom at the absolute peak of its power and the slow, tragic unraveling that tore it all apart. So, the book of First Kings makes you ask a pretty tough question. It's not really about foreign enemies or some single catastrophic disaster. Nope, it's about something way more subtle, a kind of decay from within. How does a unified, incredibly prosperous kingdom just fall apart? Let's get into it. Okay, so to set the stage, 1 Kings is the 11th book of the Old Testament, and its focus is just laser sharp. It takes us from the absolute golden age under King Solomon all the way through the painful split of the kingdom. And simmering just underneath everything is this constant struggle, this huge battle between true and false worship. Now, the story kicks off on a spectacular high note. I mean, we open on what you can only describe as the kingdom's golden age. All of it happening under one legendary figure, King Solomon. And right at the top, you've got King Solomon. He wasn't just another ruler, he was famous for his incredible wisdom. And that wisdom, it brought unbelievable wealth and stability, which let him take on the most massive building project in the nation's entire history, the magnificent temple in Jerusalem. It was a symbol of God's presence and the kingdom's unity. But you know how these stories go, right? After you hit a peak that high, a decline almost has to start. The very foundation of this amazing kingdom began to show cracks, not from any outside pressure, but from the choices being made at the very top. And here it is, this is the core problem. See, later in his life, Solomon's political alliances came with a huge spiritual price tag. He married hundreds of foreign wives to seal these deals, which was pretty common for kings back then. But these marriages brought the worship of other gods right into the heart of the kingdom. It was a direct challenge to their core beliefs, and it planted the seeds for the whole thing to collapse. So, while Solomon kind of laid the spiritual groundwork for the split, the final thing that broke the camel's back happened right after he died. His son, Rehoboam, was asked by the people to maybe lighten the load a little. Instead, he doubled down, chose harshness, and that was it. That was the last straw that just shattered the nation's unity. And the fallout from this? Well, it was immediate, and it was a total disaster. The unified nation of Israel just stopped existing. It splintered into 2 rival kingdoms. This was the new reality. Up in the north, you had the Kingdom of Israel. They completely rejected Solomon's family line and started their own dynasty of kings. Down south, the smaller kingdom of Judah stayed loyal to his descendants. The family was broken, and the nation was broken right along with it. Okay, so now that the kingdom is split in 2, the whole game changes. A new kind of conflict takes center stage. And this isn't just about politics or borders anymore. It's a full-blown spiritual civil war, a battle for the very soul of the people. And this is where a new, major player enters the scene, the prophet. These were individuals who spoke for God, and they directly confronted the kings who were leading the people down the wrong path with the worship of idols. This created this incredible, constant tension between the throne and God himself. You can basically see this whole spiritual war played out in the lives of these key people. On one side, you have the prophet Elijah, a fierce, passionate champion of true worship. And on the other side, you've got King Ahab and the infamous Queen Jezebel in the northern kingdom, who were actively pushing the worship of a foreign god, Baal. Their showdowns were absolutely legendary. All right, so where does all this fighting and division actually lead? The final part of 1 Kings really gets into the consequences of all these choices, and it reveals this pattern of both judgment and a surprising little flicker of hope. Yeah, the path they were on, forged by idolatry and disobedience, it led to a really tragic end. This long, drawn-out struggle just weakened both kingdoms from the inside, which made them vulnerable. Eventually, the northern kingdom was conquered, and its people were exiled by Assyria. And the story continues in the next book, 2 Kings, where the southern kingdom ends up suffering the exact same fate, but this time at the hands of Babylon. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? The book of 1 Kings really has this powerful 2-sided message. On the one hand, it's a stark warning about divine judgment, that being unfaithful has real, devastating consequences. But on the other hand, even in the middle of all that judgment and exile, the book keeps pointing to God's enduring faithfulness, leaving the door open for future hope and restoration. And that leaves us with this really powerful question, doesn't it? The story of First Kings isn't just some ancient history lesson, it's a timeless look at what happens when a whole society loses its moral and spiritual compass. What really is the cost of a nation losing its way?